Very good day to you. I'm Uveka Rangappa. Well, we spend so much time making sure that our body and organs, such as our heart, liver, lungs, kidneys, and our skin even, are well taken care of. But how many of us actually prioritize our gut? Yet gut health is linked to things like the immune system, things like our moods, our mental health, autoimmune diseases, endocrine disorders, skin conditions, and cancer. So more and more, it's becoming so important for us to understand how our gut works and how it's actually linked to the rest of our system, especially in a time where we obviously have more stresses than ever before, this year in particular, and the quality of our food is not what it used to be when we were growing up. Well, we need to have our gut in tip-top condition, and that's just to say the least. But how do we actually do that? What are the signs of an unhealthy gut? Well, in our health and science focus today, we have for you several experts who are going to help us get on the right path to gut health. Well, we do have our first guest today is Cameron du Toit, and he's a probiotic and prebiotic expert joining us live from our Pretoria studio this morning. I beg your pardon, from Cape Town. Cameron, a very good morning to you, and thanks so much for your time this morning. So let's just firstly go into all the hype we hear about probiotics, prebiotics. What role do they actually play when it comes to our gut health?
Ask them to test with you,
Good morning, Uveka, and thanks for having me on the show. So, Uveka, it is International Prebiotic Week, and the aim of the entire week is to raise awareness and to educate the general public about the roles that our foods play and, the sources of prebiotics in our diet. So prebiotics and probiotics are very essential when it comes to the overall microbiome of the body, but also the gut microbiome. And the gut microbiome actually refers to the balance and the function of all these good bacteria that are in our gastrointestinal tract. So from the mouth down into the stomach and into the gut. And both prebiotics and probiotics play very vital roles in different functions of the body. Probiotics are really well known and well researched to mediate certain effects in the body when it comes to weight regulation and immunity, as well as producing essential nutrients for the body. And the prebiotics that we find in our diet and supplementation are also, they play a vital role in feeding these probiotics and many different functions in the intestine as well.
So, Cameron, do we necessarily have to take both a prebiotic and a probiotic? Do you have to take both or either or?
So, Uveka, it's a good question. It's essential to get both in the diet. Our diets are conventionally rich in prebiotics and probiotics, and it is essential to get both in the diet. And if you are lacking any of the two, you would need to supplement with them, because the prebiotic and the probiotic together act as what we call a symbiotic. The one complements the other. Prebiotics feed the good bacteria in the gut, and they spur the growth of new bacteria, good bacteria in the gut, and they help to produce nutrients, certain nutrients in the gut through the fermentation process. So the good bacteria eat the prebiotics, and the probiotics have their own essential functions in the body when it comes to regulating this healthy gut environment in the body. So both are really essential.
Now, do we necessarily, Cameron, have to be taking supplements for something like this? Is it something that we can actually get out of our food?
Uveka, yes, we can definitely get it out of our food. Certain foods are rich in prebiotics. If we look at foods such as whole grains, which encompass barley and oats, and onions and garlic, they're all rich in prebiotic fibers. And probiotics would normally be found in foods such as commercially produced yogurts that have added probiotics to them, fermented soft cheeses that are unpasteurized, and certain supplements like kombucha and kefir are rich in these. And if we're lacking them in our diet, it would be essential to supplement with them and put them back just to restore that balance in the gut.
Now, I know that there are particular rules as to how and when we should be taking our prebiotics and probiotics. So for anybody who is quite confused out there, Cameron, maybe just set the record straight. If it's a prebiotic, when is the right time to take it? And a probiotic, when is the right time, and how do you take them?
So a prebiotic, Uveka, it could be taken at any time. A prebiotic is just to set it straight on what the definition of a prebiotic is. A prebiotic is derived from dietary fibers that we get in our diet, and it is what we call an insoluble or a partially digestible fiber. And so it's not really destroyed by the stomach acid, and when it gets into the gut, it's then fermented. The probiotics would necessarily need to be taken if it's food. It is viable to take it with your food. So if it's commercially available food that has it in there, it should be protected by the food. And then if you're supplementing, the best time to take a probiotic is with food. Because if you are taking probiotics in a tablet or a caplet or powder presentation, and they're not acid resistant, and you're taking them when you're fasting, it experiences a high mortality rate, which means that a lot of the bacteria are destroyed as they're passing through the stomach acid into the gut. So best time to take probiotics as a supplement would be with meals.
So can you give prebiotics from an early age, Cameron? Is it something that I should have my kids on at this stage, or should we wait to see if they are having a problem later on? And how would you know that it's time for a pre or a probiotic?
Uveka, good question. So conventionally our diets are rich in prebiotic fiber, but there are certain signs and symptoms to look for. So the normal conventional signs and symptoms that we look for are a bloated gut, very irregular bowel movement, irritation or inflammation in the gut, constipation, and general overall health complications associated with the gut. These are the signs and the symptoms to look for.
Well, I know that it is Global Prebiotic Week, so it's something that you are very involved in at the moment, Cameron. So what's the message that you're sending out, I suppose, to the world in a week like this, where we are all highly stressed? You know, we're living, I think, one of the most awful years of our lives, all of us, regardless of age or who you are. And, you know, I suppose healthy eating has not been top of mind as well for us for most of this year. So what's the message when it comes to Global Prebiotics Week?
So the message would be aware of what you're putting into your body. What we put into our body is what our body invariably becomes, our food stuff. And prebiotics play a very, very essential role in maintaining health and various aspects of health when it comes to weight regulation, mood regulation, immunity. And the message out there is to be aware of what you're putting into your body and the importance of food complexes, and specifically prebiotics, and they function on a macro level in the body.
All right, fantastic. Thanks so much.
So what we put in is the health benefit that we get out.
Thanks so much, Cameron du Toit, a prebiotic and probiotic expert. If you were wondering how you actually take these things, well, hopefully we've given you some guidance there. Well, still to come, we actually get to the nitty-gritty of all of this when it comes to gut health. I'll be speaking to Dr. Chantal Groenewald, and she is a homeopathy expert.